This is the trailhead for Ferguson Woods, which is a couple of miles from where we live. It's late October 2023 here in Wallingford, Connecticut. Let's take a brief walk into the woods. This area is next to the big ridges that are on the east side of town. And these are trap rock ridges, as they call them. And they were formed by enormous flows of lava 250 million years ago, when North America and what was to become Europe split apart. And so what we have here are woods that have grown up in these ridges or the areas next to them. Now, as old as this area is, you would expect to see a lot of very old growth trees, but you don't. If you look, you'll notice that most of these trees are in the neighborhood of, probably 150 years old, give or take. And that's because the colonial farmers came in here and cut down all the trees. So what you see here has grown up in their place ever since. I'm not very keen on heights, but this is a nice view looking down from the top of one of the trap rock ridges. The ridges are much, much higher than this. I think they top out around 700 feet above sea level. But even these small ones are pretty spectacular. Here's yet another view of the area from about 30 feet above the floor of the valley. And again, I need to point out, notice how skinny the trees are. If this was old growth forest, they'd be much, much bigger. It's a beautiful place to be in the fall. Taking a brief rest on this fallen tree. You can even see where it fell from. Hard to say what might have done it. Wind, lightning, who knows? If you listen carefully, you can hear the distant trains. That's in the Wallingford train station, about 4 miles away. When you're up here, you occasionally hear gunfire and there. That is from Blue Trail's gun range, which is a couple of miles further to the east. But the sounds echo up here. Here's a good example of a tree that fell, hard to say how long ago, probably sometime within the last half century. And the root ball faces west, and the body of the tree, you can see here, is lying toward the east. And in many cases, that means that this tree was felled by a storm that would have come out of the west and swept into this area. Just another view of the ancient trap rock. If you look closely, you could even see how it fractures in what is more or less straight lines, which is typical of basalt. And it has crumbled and fallen down into this little valley. It's eerie to imagine standing here looking at what was once red hot or white hot lava that the dinosaurs would have seen as they were parading through this area. But they're all gone, and here we are. You have to kind of be mindful of your footing as you're walking along here. These are not smooth, manicured trails, although the group that maintains them, they try their best. but the rocks are just everywhere. So you you have to look down frequently lest you trip yourself and twist your ankle or worse. There are online maps of all of these trails, and the caretakers have done a super job of marking it. You see these marks on the trees. These are called blaze marks. So this would mean that I'm on a red blazed trail. And if I go over here, I will see a marker for a blue blazed trail. I think I'll follow that one. And here at long last, we emerge from the trail and back onto this rutted road, or what may seem like a road, not much of a road. And from here, you just make your way on down to the car. And I hope you've enjoyed this. Just a brief glimpse of my little part of the world.